I think the flood of information out there on social media these days has a lot of you just paralyzed to move forward, or you get going and then you hear another piece of information that kind of makes you pivot when you really just need to be doing stuff consistently. It's got a lot of y'all doing some crazy, wacky shit out there, man. Like, I see people fearing seed oils, but yet they're drinking shots of vodka every night or down a bottle of wine. Just don't make sense, guys. Life before social media, man. I remember just having access to like bodybuilding magazines, you know, life before you had a million people telling you what to do and not to do. I'm not gonna do any of that. I'm gonna kind of share with you how I lost 60 pounds at age 17 years old. So first thing was just more movement. I remember still living at home and my mom had a treadmill in her bedroom that she wasn't using. So pulled it upstairs to my bedroom, put it right in front of my bed facing my stereo system. And I had an old school alarm clock, and I would actually set first alarm to go off at like say 5:30 a.m. And I had a bottle of water and some kind of, at the time it was a fat burner called Lipo 6. And there's a whole nother story I can go with it down that road with you about how I eventually got sponsored by that company. But anyways, the first alarm would go off and I would roll over just in my sleep and down that caffeine pill and go back to sleep. And then the second alarm would go off at like say 6. And man, when I woke up, that caffeine was already in my system. I would throw on a hoodie and jump on that treadmill, crank up my 3 Days Grace, Seether, I think there was at the time, it was stained, and just rock out, man, and get a good sweat. So that's how I started every morning before I went to class. I think I was in my junior or senior year, and just get some good movement in. I think that's, you know, whether that's a good cardio session like that or just getting in more steps, I think a lot of people are just lacking that in today's time. Most people are not just moving enough. So from a cardio standpoint and sweating, that was one of the, I think, the critical things that I did that played a huge role in me shaving off 60 pounds in, you know, 5 or 6 months. And I actually want to share with you some of the pictures. So this is Muscle and Fitness magazine, year 2005. And if you flip about halfway through, you'll see my progress photos there. And this is one of the first magazines that they put my pictures in. And I lost 60 pounds in a relatively short amount of time. There's another one. It's got my name on that one. You can see that. But that's another Muscle and Fitness. But they ran these ads for a few years, and really cool story by itself with that. Opened up many opportunities for me. But 60 pounds, 18 years old. Yet before that, I was 240 pounds, bad acne, no self-esteem. For me at the time, it was getting into shape to attract girls. Obviously, my goals and mindset towards fitness and stuff like that has evolved since then to much more than just attracting the opposite sex. But anyways, you know, as far as the morning movement, that was what I did most mornings, 6-7 days a week, was just get in some good cardio. And as far as the nutrition goes, I would actually jump off that treadmill, go downstairs to the kitchen, and I would cook up 2 or 3 whole eggs, add a cup of egg whites, and cook up some just regular old-fashioned oats, put all this together in a bowl and put some sugar-free maple syrup, and I would wrap that bowl in aluminum foil and take it with me to the gym. At the time, it was a gym in town called Rome Health Spa, and I drove an 83 Jeep CJ7, had metal floorboards, and I would actually keep that food in my Jeep, and I would go work out for like maybe 45 minutes, and then when I would come back, that egg and oatmeal would actually still be warm because it was wrapped in that foil. Now you could probably use like a thermos or something like that, but I would sit there in my Jeep post-workout and have that eggs and oatmeal. I think sometime mid-morning, I would shake up a protein shake, and at the time I used a product called Champion. There's a company called Champion. It was chocolate whey protein. I would already have my shaker cup with 2 scoops of chocolate protein powder in that shaker cup in my book bag, and teachers still to this day remember me shaking that cup up in class, because they'd be like, it'd be so quiet, and they would actually hear that shaker cup going off, you know, in class. And so do other students. They still got memories of me every day just shaking that shaker cup up. So that's what I would do like mid-morning, sometime between breakfast and lunch. And then for lunch, I would try to graze on some of the stuff that the school offered, whether that was like a salad or an apple, something like that, try to make a little bit smarter decision. And then on the weekends, when I was out doing construction, I would actually have the Swanson canned chicken breast with a pull-off tab. I would drain the water off. And at the time, there was these things called 100-calorie Nabisco snacks. It was like Chips Ahoy, Oreo, and I would have some of those. And a lot of water. Just knew I wasn't following a meal plan. I just knew that I needed to move more and make better eating decisions. I would also bag up stuff like the Cheerios. I would rely on popcorn as a snack. I mean, 3 cups of popcorn is a serving size, and you can get really full off of just popcorn. It's a great snack. And you know, other 100-calorie snacks like this, 100-calorie nut packs was one of my favorite by Emerald. And then for dinner, a lot of times I would eat another, like a grilled chicken salad with some low-fat dressing. I wasn't counting macros. I just knew I wanted to focus on high protein and still get my movement in. And like I said, I was able to shave off 60 pounds in a really short time, and just focusing on the foundation foundational stuff that matters. I think, like I said earlier, we overcomplicate things now. I wasn't worried about seed oils or preservatives. I was just moving more, making smarter food decisions, and I also took pictures every 2 weeks. That's how we got these pictures in the magazines. Is I had a good support system. I had a friend that owned a nutrition shop, Steve Bailey, Maximum Nutrition. He inspired me to take these photos every 2 weeks. We put a little white X on my carpet, and that's where I stood every 2 weeks to take these photos. And here's another card. Just kind of got them all laid out. And yeah, I was, like I said, 18, 19 years old. I actually did my first teenage bodybuilding competition at 19 years old. Long story short, when we got finished with the pictures and all that, and I did my first show, he had inspired me to mail these photos off to the company, Nutrex Lipo 6, the fat burner that I was actually taking at the time, and sponsoring me, putting me in all their magazines for like 2 years. Ended up working for the company full time. I had some cool experiences. They flew me out to a lot of the Olympia expos, and I got to work the booth for Nutrex there at the Olympia and the Arnold's, and got to meet a lot of people, and so many more other doors open for me just through that gateway of fitness. And since I've been obsessed and passionate about helping others, I've worked many jobs through the years. I used to drive a big truck. I did construction. I used to cut hair. I used to be a barber. It kind of runs in my family. So there's a barber pole right there on my arm, and my grandpa cut hair for 50 years. So I've had a lot of jobs, and I've learned creative ways to stay on my nutrition, stay moving. Has it always been perfect? No, but I've learned to keep things super realistic and real and sustainable. I think I'm living proof of that for the past 23 years now. I'll be 40 years old in a few weeks. I've been able to maintain health, a certain level of aesthetics. Yes, I do fluctuate through the year, nothing major, but I've been able to keep everything in check, since I was 17, 18 years old through creative food strategies, protein. And if you've been following my content for a while, I'm never going to bash any certain food groups. Now, I will say from a coach perspective, when I'm working with somebody one-on-one, I do work with them on where they're at. Some people need a little bit more refining in certain areas than others, but that's my job to do that with you. So just wanted to share this story with you on how I lost a good amount of body fat and got into shape at such a young age and have kept it consistent through the years. And if you're in a spot where you need some realistic strategies to help you keep this sustainable and not just another 75 hard or a crash diet or a juice cleanse, reach out to me and I'll see if I can put something together for you.